Hi, and welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. Today what we're going to do is a bit of hydro dipping. Now, I've never done this with earring blanks, and we're going to use fingernail polish. Now, you can achieve this without a lot of out-of-pocket expense if you go to the dollar store and buy fingernail polish. And you just drip it into water and then dip what you're wanting to color. We're going to be doing earring blanks today, and like I said, never done this, not quite sure how it's going to turn out, but let's give it a go. So follow me and we'll get started. All right, so what we're doing here is just laying in a nice base onto our earring blanks. And I've got Folk Heart Gold, and I'm going to do a couple of pairs with a base of this gold. And I just think that it will turn out better with a background color in there than it would with just the plain light colored blanks. So now I'm just using an acrylic black. I get this at Walmart, so not real expensive, but it will give us a nice black coating for our earring blanks. So I will do around the edges of these and do the back of the earring as well, but I'm just putting in a quick snippet of what I'm doing. Okay guys, so here we are just putting some color into our water. You want to use a bowl that you don't care about or you're going to use again to hydro dip in, because it will ruin your bowl. And you just dip whatever you're wanting to color in there. In this case, we're doing earring blanks. And this is some of the gold that I had. I did try blow drying these. I should have something set up where I can hang them, and that way they could dry naturally. But I ended up having to just lay them flat. So one side of these earrings are not like the other because I did lay them flat, and so they did squish the pattern a little bit, but they're still really cute. I've got one pair, in fact it's the one that we're going to dip here, that didn't turn out real well on the back, and so with that one I will probably just repaint the black so that it looks good with the front. All right, and then how you take the excess color off of there is you just take a paper towel and you run it around until the color comes off the top, and then you can reuse the same water for your next pair of earrings. Now, I don't suggest doing more than one pair per color solution because this fingernail polish will clump up. It starts to kind of dry and it'll clump up and not give you the best result. If you do more than one pair, you need to work very quickly, and that way you won't end up with the clumping. All right, so we're just going to pull that color off of the top of the water, and we're going to get ready to do another one. Now, the ones that I did do the glitter with, put the glitter on top of the color because otherwise it will sink to the bottom, especially that big heavy glitter. Even putting it on top of the color, some of it will sink to the bottom. So another option might be to go ahead and dip your earrings, get that nice marbling color, let them cure, and then add the glitter that you want onto the top and let it cure again. It's a longer process, but it might work better for you. Okay, so I did, as you know, color all of these blanks with just some acrylic paint prior. So if you have a color that you don't have the fingernail polish for and that you want in there, go ahead and base coat your earrings. Earring blank in whatever color it is that you want. A lot of that base coat does come through. Also, when you're doing this, I like to try to pick colors that go together. But if you want something wild, you can go ahead and put any color together. They make almost any color of fingernail polish that you could ever want now. But as I said, I did the dollar store, so I was limited to the amount of colors that I could get. But as I dip these gold ones into this teal, you can see how much gold comes through. So just remember that when you're doing this. Okay, guys, some of that worked, some of it didn't. One of the things that I will do next time, which will be easier when I'm not on vacation, is to have an apparatus set up to hang the earrings from while they dry. The other thing that I will do is I will add the earring tops prior to dipping and just not dip down to where it will hit the hole where the earring mechanism is. That way, I think that I'll be able to have a more even dip front to back. But here is what we've got. Now this was, I did go through and paint those cutouts prior to hydro dipping so that you have a nice even background. So this is the front, this is the back, or vice versa. They did turn out differently because I did have to lay them down to dry. So the back is not quite as colorful as the front, but on this particular pair, I really like the way both the front and back turned out. Now on this one, I started out with a gold base, and I'm not sure that I like this color combination. I did get some cells in here. I don't know if you can see that on camera where I have some little bubbles. I kind of do like that. And then the back again is different because I had to set them down to dry. But as you can see here, this one did not go all the way up to where the hole is. And so if I put this earring part on prior to hydro dipping, where I could just dip in, one, it's going to save my fingers from getting all ucky, but the other thing is that it should turn out front to back to be relatively the same type of pattern. And so then if I hang to dry, I won't be messing up that pattern on either side. All right, so here we started with a black base, and we did some pinks and silver and some glitter. Now this chunky glitter, you do have to put in the water after you've put your color down, otherwise it sinks to the bottom. And there is some that will still sink to the bottom. But I do like the glitter in there. Now the back of these, I didn't do much of anything. And so what I will probably do with them is give them a little bit of a sand to get some of that glitter off, and then just paint them straight black so that they don't look bad if you see the backside. Now here we started with a gold base again. I did some corals. I wanted brown, but I couldn't find brown at the dollar store for the fingernail polish. But here is the back. And what we did is some corals and some black on this, on the gold, which I think turned out really pretty. And there's the front. And I say those are the front just because there's a little more pattern to them. They're a little more interesting than what's on the back side. And then these, I did these on a black base. I did silver, lime green, and white. But I didn't care even from the beginning of the hydro dip for the way that they were looking. So here's what the back turned out like, and they were sitting down again, and that's kind of a cool look. You don't get as much of the lime green there, but I kind of like that. The fronts here, what I did with them, because I wasn't really caring for the way they were laying, it was just weird. I went ahead and I took some paper toweling and pressed in there while they were wet. And it kind of almost gave this little snake print effect to them. And I ended up really liking those. And then we have these we did on a white base, and we did these with some pink and some lavender, and there's a little bit of glitter in there that is it's kind of a gray, but it's more of the purpley tone of gray. And so these turned out really pretty too. I do like the back as well, and they turned out different because, again, laid them down on something. They turned out almost more watercolor looking, so I like that as well. So some things to play with, but definitely if you're going to do earring blanks, go ahead and put the earring mechanism on the top before hydro dipping, and then have something where you can hang them, where the back and the front are able to just dangle. You will want to go back every once in a while as it's drying, because you're going to get some of it that just slides down a little bit, and you'll want to take any little drips that are coming off the bottom off. And I did do that even though I didn't hang them. I did do that prior to laying them down flat so that we had a nice base to the earring and didn't have any drippies going on. And you can just use paper toweling for that, or baby wipes. I also had baby wipes handy just to help keep me somewhat clean so I wasn't transferring colors from one earring set to the other. Also, make sure that you do have fingernail polish remover available, so that if you do need to make a cleanup real fast, you've got it available to do that. All right, so that was today's video. I hope you liked it. We'll do a little bit more hydro dipping in the future. Maybe next time we'll use some spray paint and see how that turns out. That was not able for me to do with traveling, a little harder to try to pack cans of spray paint versus bottles of fingernail polish. All right, thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you again next week. If you like my videos and the content that I put out, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that little bell notification so you get notified anytime I upload videos, which is typically Thursdays, but sometimes I get ambitious and do a couple times a week, and sometimes it'll be a little late because of things that are going on in life. So with hitting that bell, you'll know when their new ones are up. All right, thank you, and you guys have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.